Hey guys, before we start this episode, I wanted to talk to you about Type 1 Lifting. So Type 1 Lifting is a clothing line that proceeds of the shirts and tanks and everything else goes to the Children's Diabetes Foundation. So this all came about with me and seeing a 5-year-old girl in the emergency department that had new onset of diabetes. So just take a look at the website. It's www.type1lifting.com. So just check it out. If you don't buy anything, that's perfectly fine. I would just like for you just to take a look and just see what we have. So like I said before, www.type1lifting.com. And guys, I hope you enjoy the show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Liftoff. Thank you for tuning in. So today I want to talk about the reason why I started a podcast. So originally I was a trainer at a gym that's in my town, and there's these two other trainers that we kind of like throw questions at each other, or give each other tips and tricks, or show each other what has been super helpful between each client of ours, and and just see what we can kind of take away from one another. So while we were sitting down in the back room, in the break room, just eating, relaxing before our next clients, I asked them, what are your thoughts about all three of us doing a podcast together? And they were all in. I'm a big podcast fan. I've been listening to podcasts for, almost probably 8 years, maybe a little bit longer than that. So I love learning about, different things, especially in the fitness industry, or, self-help, or, what other people do on their daily basis, and see if I can kind of take some knowledge tidbits from them and use it to my, skill set. So, my other buddies were all in, and but the one problem is with trying to get three people in together at one time. It's everyone has different schedules, and the weekends it was kind of tough trying to get everybody together. So this was going on for the past couple of weeks, and I decided that if I'm going to be waiting for all of us to get together and do the podcast, we're probably going to do a podcast once a month, and I want to do one at least once a week or twice a week, so I can learn from other diabetics, other fitness professionals, and kind of get better at my craft. So the original podcast that we actually had was called the CPB podcast. So it was competitive fitness / CrossFit, powerlifting, and bodybuilding, CPB. And I thought it was a great title, but I just decided to just go on myself. And actually, one of the people that was doing the podcast was going to do the podcast is Dyron Bates. So I actually interviewed him. It's going to be coming out this week. So great guy. The problem is scheduling three people all at once. It's so hard, and even trying to get people to interview is hard as well, because everyone has different times, and I'm working full time. I can't really interview people in the middle of the day while I'm working, and that's a huge no. And so now it's like hitting the weekends or after work. So so that's why it's kind of tough having three people, and I just decided just to go on by myself. So the main focus of the Type 1 Lifting podcast, like I said before, is I just want to be more knowledgeable and learn from everybody and anybody I can from my past interviews. I've learned a good amount of their life, how they deal with diabetes, or how they personal train people or do remote coaching, because I would love to do remote coaching. I've done it once, and it was great, and it just didn't work out because it was just, he just decided not to, answer my calls or whatnot, but which is I understand. So, so this is the reason why I started a podcast, and it's really not that hard. Like I said, I'm going to say in the advertisement after this, all you need is your cell phone, a lapel mic or 2 lapel mics, and that's really it. And then you can talk to anybody, talk to your wife, or talk to anybody you may be interested into talking to, and use the Zoom application too on your computer, because I've tried Skype, and if you heard the Everyday T1D podcast, I used Skype on that, and it was the quality was bad, and it was unfair for Austin, because that's all I knew. I didn't really know about Zoom until I learned it from work. So I use Zoom now. It's a lot better, but granted, there are some times where it gets a little the reception's not that good, but I believe Zoom is a lot easier. So use just your cell phone, lapel mic, Zoom, do an interview, and just go from there. I mean, it's really not that hard. I mean, I still get nervous interviewing people, and I probably will keep on getting nervous, but after a while, you start talking to them, and it just, it gets easier, and the nerves kind of go away. And just to think, the person on the other side is probably nervous as well. So they've never done a podcast, or they have done one when it didn't go so well, or if it's a bigger person that has a bigger following, they get nervous with that. So just kind of, when you talk to them, just kind of ease it. Just have a normal conversation. Just shoot the breeze, and and it'll get better, and they'll warm up to you, and you warm up to them as well. So so that's how I did a podcast, and this is the reason why I did a podcast. So I hope you guys have a good rest of the week, and I hope you like this episode coming up. All right, have a good day.